All right, Coach Newman, let's sit down and talk a little bit about your sixth grade pickleball lesson. I really enjoyed being in there in the gym. Your energy is contagious. You have a really good rapport with those kids. We know, as we all know, sixth grade can be tough. They're still kind of young and feel that elementary. Have that elementary maturity, but they're still trying to find that independence in middle school. And so I think you do a really fantastic job of finding those connections and building those relationships with the kids in your class. The lesson was really strong. You can tell that the kids know your routines. You're very clear. You speak up. A lot of what you do lines up with the expectations in the T-tests, and really you showed some really strong points today. Let's kind of go over some of the strengths that I saw, and then we can kind of talk about and go back and forth with some feedback. Your routines absolutely looked wonderful. Those kids come in right away. They know what they're expected to do. And that's obvious because of what you have established from the beginning of the school year or in the beginning of the semester. The equipment management, the kids know how to clean up at the end of the period. Transitions were very smooth. That's what's maximizing time, and that's allowing them to get the most out of the minutes that they're in there. And that's ultimately what we want. We want them to be moving the majority of the class period. And so you've built those routines really well. Your modeling, I really enjoyed the way that not only are you explaining the skill to them, but you modeled it for them. You demonstrated the ready position, the grip, the serving motion. It's very clear and easy for the kids to follow. And just me coming in there, not knowing really what to expect, it was easy for me to pick up what you were trying to teach them. They immediately mirrored your stance. They understood what you were looking for, what you were trying to teach. And that's one of the things that really stands out to me as a strong point in what you were trying to get across to them instructionally. The culture of your class is very positive. You could tell the kids were supportive of one another, and that comes from a teacher that models that makes sure that the classroom is a safe environment. And so you did outstanding with that. Your tone was always energetic. I love your kind of get ready and your attention getters. Those were really good. I picked up some things I had not even heard before, and so that was really impressive. The kids backed up their partners and were respectful. If they were waiting their turn, they allowed their partner to finish what they were doing. And it seems like they all were very engaged in what the lesson was. And they're having fun, and in PE, that's important. We want them to learn the skills, and we want them to be active, but we also want them to ultimately have fun. And that's exactly what the environment that you provided. You did a great job of moving around the gym space. PE can sometimes be challenging because you are in such a big space and you're trying to demonstrate, but then you're also trying to focus on helping a kiddo out that may be struggling with a certain skill. And you really did a good job of checking in with different groups, giving little kind of reminders for the whole group, and then just basically keeping everybody on task. And I think that helped keep the environment really safe, really structured, and kept everything moving smoothly. So you did a really good job with that. Some things that I kind of wrote down in my notes that I just want to kind of touch upon that I thought were really great. While you were doing the service practice, most of the kids, I would say, just if I'm getting a number, about 85% of them had the grip and the stance down, right? They knew exactly what they were doing and what you were trying to show them. About 70% of them were, when they were doing that practice, they were serving it into the diagonal box. The rest were really close, but they were just still kind of trying to get that toss down and at the contact point. And that is a good place to be where you're at in the unit. And so you kind of want, a large percentage of those kids to be kind of right where you're at. And so you're doing a good job of getting across the skill that you want and how they need to do that. Some areas that I thought we could talk about. Again, it was very strong, but some of my suggestions just for kind of making it a little bit more efficient. You gave a lot of really good feedback, and it was really great. But I think trying to be a little bit more specific, telling a little bit more of that skill-based feedback, so a kid can take exactly what you're telling them and then practice it right then and there. I think that would be able to help a lot of students that are close to get to mastering that skill get there a little bit faster. Because again, you did give feedback, but it kind of was a little bit real broad. And so some of my suggestions would be to make it a little bit more fine-tuned and more specific. Some examples that I can come up with would be like, try maybe hitting the ball a little bit earlier, right? Keep your paddle angle a little bit flatter. Those are just some things. You obviously the expert, and so you can kind of come up with some things that might be a little bit more specific. But that small targeted cues here and there, that can help you make them to help make some better corrections. Something else that I thought of as I was walking through and kind of talking to the kids and looking around, is just over the next kind of few lessons that you do, try giving the specific kids something that they can take with them, right? Something that they could, when they come back and they're doing independent practice, something that they could work on and be specific about what they're focused on, so that it's not just that they are coming out to play. Yes, of course we want them to practice, but the whole idea is just what exactly are they working on. So I think that giving something to them, like for instance, skill like a something specific with their serves, right? The angles on their rackets, or the how they approach the ball, giving them that to work on. And then I think the next lessons it'll build up, and you'll see kind of that more progression a little bit faster. But Coach, overall, I want to commend you on, this is a really, really well done lesson. You again, your management in the class, is spot on. It's run really efficiently. The kids understand the schedule of the class, the routines of the class. They obviously feel very safe in the class because it is so organized. Obviously, the kids understand that you are there to teach them skills. It's not just something where they come in and it's a free-for-all. And I think that those kids understand that, and they are learning and progressing at a faster pace. You're doing a great job with this unit specifically. And I think just some of those little adjustments that we talked about, I think that's really going to help you take this unit and even carry over into your next units to kind of give them more that specific feedback that they can take and be purposeful with how they're trying to grow. But again, I thank you for all that you do with our students, the relationships that you're building, the fact that you care about them outside of the classroom. I just think you're doing a fantastic job. I appreciate the consistency that you have with these kids. And I look forward to coming in and seeing your classes, and maybe getting a little bit of a pickleball game going with these kids. So appreciate it. Anytime you have any questions, or if you want to talk a little bit more, let's set up something, set up a meeting, and we can definitely sit down and talk. But I appreciate your time. Have a good day.